Nestlé is a brand that has become a part of our daily life. Whether it is morning coffee or Maggi, which is ready in 2 minutes, or chocolates like Munch and Kit Kat, we come across Nestlé products somewhere or the other, and it is the king of baby foods. But do you know that Nestlé has more than 10,000 products of about 2,000 brands, which means that if we start telling about each one, the day might end. But have you ever thought that such a big company is also accused of the death of lakhs of innocent people? Although this brand is present in every corner of the world, but its story is full of so many ups and downs that you will not believe it. Making people suffer for water, putting new mothers in such a situation that their breast milk stops, and then you probably know the story of the entire Maggi scandal. So let's start the story of the Nestlé company, which was started for a very noble cause, but then it went astray on such paths that people started hating it and then loving it again. Yes, don't get confused, let's know the whole story to understand it properly. So friends, the story of Nestlé starts about 210 years ago on August 10, 1814, when Henry Nestlé was born in Frankfurt, Germany. His father was a simple glassmaker, and the financial condition of the family was also not very good. That is why at a very young age Henry had decided that he would do something different by not becoming a part of the family business like his father and brothers. After which he started working under Justin, who ran a pharmacy in Frankfurt itself. Henry worked there for 4 years, and during this time he gained many types of pharmaceutical and chemical knowledge, which later proved very useful to him. After leaving the pharmacy, Henry migrated from Germany to Switzerland due to some unknown personal reasons. After coming to this new country, Henry started making and selling a special liquor that was to be consumed after meals, but this liquor did not get any special recognition in the market. After this, he also made vinegar, rum and fertilizer, but the same thing happened with those businesses as happened with his liquor business. In the same time period, the mortality rate of children in Europe had increased a lot. Especially in those children whose mothers were not able to breastfeed, and such children became victims of malnutrition. Now when Henry started collecting data related to this, he was shocked because the death rates in such cases were very high, and he felt even worse seeing this figure because even after a lot of efforts, he did not have any children of his own. In such a situation, he became even more sensitive about the safety of other children, and then, after thinking a lot, he decided that he would make such an alternative to breastfeeding, with which the lives of millions of children could be saved. With this thought, Henry started studying breast milk and started experimenting with different ingredients. But unfortunately, these experiments were unsuccessful for a long time. Actually, Henry was short of resources and money. But still he did not give up and kept doing research along with collecting money from here and there, and then finally in 1867 he prepared a formula that could become a good substitute for breast milk. Henry made this formula by adding things like cow's milk, flour, and sugar. He made it by mixing together. He, along with his friend Jean Balthasar, who was a scientist of human nutrition, removed the acid and starch from wheat flour, so that children can digest it easily. This formula was named Farron Latte, and to sell it, he formed a company named Nestlé. Now friends, the biggest challenge was how to sell it, because firstly this was not a company. On top of that, Germany's famous scientist Justin Vaughan had also made a similar baby formula some time ago which lacked essential nutrients, and due to this people started calling it deadly soup for babies. There was an atmosphere of fear in the market regarding baby formula, which was increasing the problems of Nestlé. But then suddenly one day something happened that changed the fate of the company. Actually, a premature baby who was a victim of malnutrition was in a very critical condition, and because there was no other option in the market at that time, that baby started being given free. Surprisingly, the child's condition started improving gradually, and within a few days he became completely healthy, seeing which even the doctors were quite surprised, because earlier all of them had given up. It was only after this incident that the golden days of Funnel started, because the doctors themselves started recommending this product. Now in the starting days, it was sold only in Switzerland, but gradually its demand started increasing in the rest of Europe, and then to fulfill this demand, Henry had to open a very big factory. Now after some time, Henry saw that keeping fresh milk safe for a long time had become a big headache for the people, because the refrigerator was not invented at that time. In such a situation, the milk used to curdle very quickly, and then keeping this problem in mind, Nestlé made condensed milk. In this, the milk is thickened by heating it at a fixed temperature so that the water present inside it burns. After this, it is preserved by adding sugar to it so that it does not spoil for a long time. This innovation of Henry not only became a solution to this problem of the people, but it also increased the popularity of Nestlé even more, and in this way, in just a few years, Henry from a poor businessman became one of the richest persons of Switzerland. But by this time Henry had become very old, and because he did not have any heir of his own, so in 1875 he sold this company to his 3 associates who were local businessmen of Switzerland. Now friends, Henry Nestlé started his company with the intention of making nutrition and life-saving products for children, but when the company went into the hands of new owners, then its strategic focus changed. The goal of the new owners was maximum expansion and diversification of the company, due to which the main purpose of Nestlé was not limited to only children's nutrition but changed into a profit-driven company. Now in the year 1975, with this intention of expanding the business, Nestlé was merged with a rival business called Anglo-Swiss, which extended the company's reach to the US, UK, Spain, Germany and Australia. Meanwhile, in 1912, Nestlé also entered the Indian market, where it launched many other types of packaged foods along with its baby food. Now on one hand the company was trying to establish itself in the global market very fast, but on the other hand World War I had also started. Due to this war, there was a huge shortage of fresh milk in Europe. There was a shortage and people started becoming increasingly dependent on condensed milk. In such a situation, the governments of many countries started demanding condensed milk from Nestlé on a large scale for their soldiers. However, Nestlé also had the same problem that the general public was facing. Fresh milk was not available, and then to solve this problem, Nestlé bought many factories in America so that condensed milk could be produced from the fresh milk available there. In this way, the company's production doubled in a short time and Nestlé earned a lot of money during the war. But when the war ended, fresh milk started becoming available in the market again, due to which Nestlé's problems increased. Because due to overproduction, the company started sinking in debt. To come out of this financial crisis, Nestlé started diversifying its product lineup. For example, in the 1920s, the company introduced many types of chocolates and powdered beverages. However, Nestlé got real success when it launched Nescafé in the 1930s, which was an instant coffee powder. Actually, before the arrival of Nescafé, making coffee used to be a very troublesome job. First roast the beans, then grind them, brew them, and only then you could get a cup of coffee. But the biggest specialty of Nescafé was that it made making coffee very easy. Just mix it in water or milk and then the coffee was ready. Nescafé not only changed the way of drinking coffee in the world, but it became so popular that it also helped a lot in stabilizing the sinking financial condition of Nestlé. Like condensed milk, the demand for Nescafé also increased a lot during the Second World War, because this coffee was not only prepared quickly but also boosted the energy of the soldiers in difficult situations. That is why during the Second World War, that is, between 1938 and 1945, the total sales of Nestlé increased to $125 million, and this number was very big at that time. Now on one hand, Nestlé was doing great at the global level, but on the other hand it had become difficult for it to survive in the Indian market. Actually, Nestlé first launched milk products and baby food items in India, but at that time most of the people were dependent on fresh milk and homemade foods. The trend of packaged and processed food was negligible here. In such a situation, it became a big challenge for Nestlé to sell its product in India. That is why Nestlé first emphasized on hygiene and nutrition awareness. For this, they ran many campaigns where they explained to the consumers that packaged foods are not only convenient but they are also safe and beneficial for health. Due to such camps, people's trust in packaged food started increasing. And Indians also started adopting Nestlé's products, especially baby foods like Lactogen and Sark, because the problem of malnutrition among children was very common in our country too. Now in the 1970s, on one hand Nestlé was diversifying in fields like frozen food, pharmaceutical and cosmetics. But during this time, the company, out of greed, did such a thing that endangered the lives of millions of children. Actually, as soon as medical science advanced, it was proved in many studies that nothing is healthier for children than mother's breast milk. Now even though Nestlé's baby formula, it was a good alternative to breast milk, but as people got educated, its demand started decreasing and the revenue from baby formula also reduced considerably. Troubled by this, Nestlé thought, why not do something so that even those people who could breastfeed properly started buying their baby formula. For this, they started advertising their product in such a way that their formula is better for children than mother's milk. Well, this scandal of theirs did not stop at just advertising, but they also started paying doctors so that they could tell mothers that Nestlé's baby formula is more beneficial and safer than breast milk. Due to this kind of manipulation, those mothers who could breastfeed also started switching to baby formula, due to which the risk of infections in children increased a lot. And friends, you know, Nestlé did not stop here, but taking this strategy one step further, it started campaigns on a large scale in Africa and Asia as well. For this, they dressed up the saleswomen as nurses who would meet mothers in the maternity wards of the hospital and convince them to stop breastfeeding and use Nestlé's formula. These saleswomen were hired on commission, which means the more formula they sell, the more money they will earn, and that is why they started selling this formula very aggressively. Nestlé had also given some samples to these fake nurses, which they used to give to new mothers for free. In such a situation, by the time the sample was finished, the mother's milk would stop being produced naturally. In such a situation, they had no other option except to buy Nestlé's expensive product. The biggest loss of this deception of Nestlé was seen in those countries where clean drinking water was not available. Because the people there started mixing baby formula in dirty water and giving it to the children. That is why diarrhea and many other diseases spread among children. Apart from this, some people who were from poor families and could not afford baby formula started using diluted formula powder, due to which children did not get adequate nutrition and they became victims of malnutrition. That is, the company to solve the problem which Henry Nestlé started this company. Today the same company has become the biggest reason for this problem. It is estimated that due to those shoddy formula marketing practices of Nestlé, lakhs of children lost their lives, and this trend would have continued even today if in 1973 a magazine named New Internationalist had not exposed this dirty marketing strategy of Nestlé. Apart from this, in 1974, British NGO War on What published a booklet named The Baby Killer. This booklet made serious allegations against the marketing practice of Nestlé's baby formula in developing countries, in which it was told that Nestlé deliberately created such circumstances that people started moving away from breastfeeding. Shortly after this, The Baby Killer was translated into German and published as Nestlé Kills Babies, which created a lot of anger among the people against the company. In response, Nestlé filed a defamation case against the publishers in Switzerland, and after fighting the case for 2 years, the court ruled in favor of Nestlé and legally acquitted it of criminal responsibility. But the strange thing is that the court imposed a fine of 300 Swiss francs on those publishers. That is, a fine of about $400 was imposed on those who had written against Nestlé. Although Nestlé had achieved a legal victory, but due to the lawsuit and controversy, its global reputation suffered a major setback against Nestlé's unethical marketing tactics. There were many protests and its products were boycotted in many countries. After this controversy, Nestlé had to take many important steps to improve its image. It started many projects at the global level in which clean water and better health service were promoted. Through these steps, Nestlé tried to give the message that they are working not only to earn profits but also to fulfill social responsibilities. Along with this, Nestlé also pledged to follow the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes issued by WHO, and under this code, it was necessary for the company to tell that breast milk is the best for children and it should be considered better than formula milk. Now when the fire of this matter has cooled down. So in 1983, Nestlé launched Maggi noodles in India, which brought a new change in the instant food sector. At that time, the concept of noodles was completely new in India. That is why Nestlé did a lot of marketing to attract the attention of Indian customers. In a short time, Maggi started becoming popular, especially in big cities where women used to go out to work. At that time, they needed a food option that could be prepared quickly and children would also like to eat it. However, due to its excellent taste and brilliant marketing, Maggi soon spread from big cities to every corner of the country, and it was liked so much in India that no one could touch its success for 3 consecutive decades. But then in 2015, suddenly such a ruckus happened that the government not only banned Maggi from being made in India but also imposed a huge fine of 640 rupees crore on it. But to know why the government did this, we will have to go to 2015, but even before that many such events had happened. Which is very important for you to know. Like in 2013, Nestlé was accused of overexploitation of groundwater in villages and small towns of Pakistan. Actually, the company used to extract this water and purify it in its factories and sell it as bottled water. Due to this, the groundwater level started falling very fast. And people were forced to buy expensive bottled water. But this problem was not limited to Pakistan only, but in California and Michigan too. Nestlé had started extracting and selling water on a large scale despite severe shortage of water. Nestlé was criticized a lot all over the world for this thing, but no action was ever taken against the company at any major level. On the other hand, in India, Nestlé was selling its Maggi indiscriminately and used to launch new flavors of it every few days. But in May 2015, when UP's Food and Drug Administration tested Maggi's sample, it found that it contained 17.2 ppm lead, while its prescribed limit in India is only 2.5 ppm. Also, the company claimed that MSG or monosodium glutamate is not used in their packaging, while its presence was found in the test. In simple terms, these elements are very harmful for the mental development of children. Also, after eating them, people start suffering from many kinds of problems. You can fall prey to diseases. That is why the government of many states like Delhi, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh immediately banned Maggi. And friends, later this matter became so controversial that the central government had to ban Maggi in the entire country. Along with this, a fine of 640 crore rupees was also imposed on the company by taking legal action. But this matter did not stop here, rather people became so angry about this case that in Muzaffarpur, Bihar, a case was again registered against Amitabh Bachchan, Madhuri Dixit and Preeti Zinta that why are they promoting such things which are fatal for people's lives? Due to such legal battles, increasing controversy and continuous criticism, Nestlé had to recall all its Maggi noodles from the market and it suffered a huge loss due to this. But the company still did not give up. After a few months, Nestlé changed its ingredients and on November 30, 2015, started the production of Maggi again at all its 5 plants in India. This time, very high-level checks were done regarding the quality and safety of Maggi and it was ensured that Maggi is not adulterated with any harmful substance. After re-entry in marketing, the company started telling people through advertisements that now Maggi has become even better than before. And friends, due to these efforts of the company, people started getting attracted towards Maggi again in a short time. In this way, Nestlé saw many ups and downs in its journey, faced criticism and also faced legal battles, yet today it is one of the biggest companies in the world. But the question is how, friends, even though Nestlé is a very rich company, it does not mean that its products are popular only because of money and advertisements. The company has also launched many such products which are really excellent in quality and people trust them. And friends, due to all these factors, you will find Nestlé products in almost every country of the world today.